All right, now I'm going to show y'all how I marinate my chicken for fajitas. I'm just going to, you want to use some lime juice, and you can marinate them ever how long you want. I usually just marinate them an hour or two, and I'm going to use the juice of a whole lime, and the lime is real important because the lime just helps to tenderize the chicken and just gives, for fajitas, it's just the best flavor. You need lime. I think lime is so good. So I'm using a whole lime here and just gonna get all the fresh juice out of it that I can. If you don't have fresh lime, you can use the bottled kind, but if you use the bottled kind, probably use at least a couple of, maybe a couple of tablespoons should do it. And just put that right in there. And I'm going to do garlic, and I'm using fresh garlic, and I'm using about 3 garlic cloves, and I'm going to crush them. And I've already got some here in my little garlic dumaflacher thing. Where I'm from, we always said dumaflacher, dumahickey. It's a garlic press, but sometimes I forget. And so if you use the fresh, if you use a garlic press, this is the best way to get your garlic in there, I think, to get the juice of the garlic too. So I'm doing 4 cloves. I like a lot of garlic in them. And that fresh garlic is going to give it some good flavor, y'all. Yeah, my garlic dumaflacher. All right, now, and here comes your spices. So your spices, you want to do, I do pretty much tablespoon of I do a tablespoon of cumin and smoked paprika. Smoked paprika makes a difference, okay? And I'm going to do a half a teaspoon of onion powder, a teaspoon of black pepper, and I'm going to do a teaspoon of chili powder. So I'm going to put my cumin in. This is ground cumin. And I'm just going to do, I'm not doing a heaping, I'm just going to do a tablespoon of cumin, a tablespoon of smoked paprika, I'm going to do about probably 2 teaspoons of chili powder, about a half a teaspoon of onion powder, and about a teaspoon of black pepper. And if you want them spicier, you could do about a teaspoon of cayenne pepper if you wanted to, or some pepper flakes. So now all I do, I just pretty much, and I'm using my kettle. I didn't want to get my bowl out, so I'm just using the kettle. I'm just going to cover. Now this is chicken tender. These are chicken breast tenders, okay? And I'm going to actually bake this chicken in the oven and bake it, and then I'll make my vegetables separate. And because I like to bake them, I like to bake the chicken in the oven and then cut the chicken up in strips to put on my vegetables. So this is just the first step, okay? And, oh, about forgot. Yeah, I'm going to put some salt in here. And you don't need a lot of salt because you're going to be using a can of Rotel, and that's got a lot of salt. But I'm going to marinate it with a little bit of salt. So I'm going to do probably about that much. It might be a half teaspoon. Okay. And I'm using sea salt, okay? I like sea salt. You can use kosher salt. I like sea salt and kosher salt a lot. So I wanted to show you guys the chicken that I used. I use I got mine at Costco. These are chicken tenderloins and they're chicken breast. I use 2 packs of these. So it really doesn't say how much is in there, but I'm going to guess I'm probably maybe 2.5 pounds, okay? And the good thing about chicken fajitas, you can have leftovers. They're good the next day. And they go a long way and they feed a lot of people. So this is just going to be for our family. So I used 2 packs of these chicken tenderloins that I got from Kirkland's. And I'm going to guess they're probably about 2.5, maybe 3 pounds at the most of chicken here. But I'm going to say probably 2.5. So now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to cover this chicken, and I'm just going to let it hang out for about probably 30 minutes. And I got my oven preheated. I'm going to put them in the oven at 350 degrees. You want the chicken is done around 165 degrees internal. These are chicken breasts, so it will not take long at all, maybe 30 minutes. And you just want them, get them in there, roast them in the oven, maybe get a little brown on them. Sometimes I put mine under the broiler a little bit and let them get a little bit of brown on them, so they're really good. But that's it. So just going to let them hang out. Then when we come back, I'm going to stick them in the oven. So I have the chicken tenders already to go in the oven. Just laid them out on a cookie sheet with some aluminum foil. I did put some olive oil down first and then laid them out. And I'm putting them in the oven until they're done. Shouldn't take no more than 30 minutes, but you want to cook chicken till it's about 165 degrees in the middle. This is chicken breast, so it's going to cook up pretty quick. So they're going in the oven. All right, the chicken is done. I baked it for 30 minutes, and I did stick them under the broiler just a little bit to get a little brown, and that's all I did. I want to let the chicken just rest, and now we will do our veggies for our fajitas. So now I'm doing my vegetables for my fajitas. This is a large onion sliced up, and this is 2 peppers. I'm using a red and a yellow. And there's 2 cloves of garlic in there. And I'm going to do a can of diced tomatoes with chilies. This is the Aldi brand. This is basically the Aldi version of Rotel. Don't drain it. And Dad, can you come over and help me? Squeeze me a lime. We're going to do a juice of a lime, fresh lime. And I got my heat on about a medium. And so he's going to do the fresh lime juice in there.
What's the other half?
Yeah. And the lime is important. It's really good. Just put it down low. Always put it down low. Yeah. For that reason. All right. And we're going to do some lard. I'm going to do a little bit of lard in here. And what the lard's going to do, I always use lard when it comes to fajitas. Just gives it that really good extra flavor. And if you don't want to use lard, you can leave that out. Use a little bit of olive oil in here. Go ahead. And
a little more?
Yeah, just a little more. And if you don't want to use lard, just use some olive oil would be great. Work just as good. But that's be careful. That's my non-stick skillet. I don't like to use. And I'm going to use about a teaspoon of Better Than Bouillon chicken base. Okay, this is Better Than Bouillon. I get it at Costco. I think Kroger and Walmart has it. And since these are chicken fajitas, go ahead and just drop that right in there. I'll help you. This just gives it a little extra, plenty, little extra rich flavor. Since these are chicken fajitas, I usually always put a little of that in there. If you don't have that, you can use like a chicken bouillon cube, or just leave it out, or put in about a cup of chicken broth if you want to do that. If you do use chicken broth, drain your tomatoes, okay? The tomatoes that I put in here, you will want to drain them. You don't want too much liquid in here. So I just stir these around and saute them. And now we're going to add some spices to your veggies, okay? You need some spices. Now the chicken has already been seasoned ahead of time, but you also want it to add some seasonings to your peppers and your onions. So look how good that looks, y'all. So now I'm going to add the seasonings, and you're just going to stir that around.
Share the love.
Yeah, you can smell them too. Smell it. Smell it, Daddy.
I do smell it.
So you just want to stir these until your veggies are tender, where when you bite into them, they're good and tender. And I want to give it a taste. I'm not adding any salt because the Better Than Bouillon has sodium, and the can of Rotel tomatoes has sodium, okay? And I want to taste it before I add any salt, okay? All right, so now we're going to put the seasonings in. We're going to do a teaspoon. Yeah, that's it. That's too big. Level it off a little. There you go. About a teaspoon of smoked paprika. Just dump it in. And we're going to do a teaspoon of cumin, ground cumin. Yeah, that's good. And we're going to do a teaspoon of chili powder. Now, if you want these a little more spicy, you can add about a half teaspoon of red pepper flakes, or you can do some,
All right.
yeah. Or you can put some jalapenos in it if you want. So I gave them a taste and they're good. They don't need any more salt. They're perfect. I just turned the heat off. And I'm just going to let them sit there until we're ready to put it all together. Now we're going to start on my refried beans, okay? So I use, this is my soup beans that I make. I call them soup beans. These are pintos and Great Northerns that I had cooked ahead of time. And I kept them because I always use them for refried beans, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to put about a tablespoon of a lard in here, because lard makes refried beans really good. So I'm going to let my helper, let Daddy help me. So he's going to put some lard in here, and we're going to bring these up to heat, and we're just going to stir them and mash them with my spoon. So I got my lard in my beans, and I'm doing about a teaspoon of cumin. You can put these in a skillet too. What I do, and I may need to add a little water, I want to just check them, and when they start reheating back up, I'm just going to let my lard melt. I'm going to mash them with my spoon, and I'm going to taste them for salt. They shouldn't need any because they've already been pretty much seasoned, but I may have to add a little bit more water to them. So I'm going to let them start heating up. These are really simple, guys. You don't need to buy refried beans in a can. If you make your own beans ahead of time, pintos or mixed beans, save them or freeze them, and then bring them out and heat them up like I'm doing. Put your little cumin in them, a little bit of extra lard, and they make the perfect refried beans for your fajitas. So these are done. They're already done, ready to eat. They're really simple, guys. This is how I do refried beans. Just there's probably 3 cups of beans there, and I just did like a teaspoon of cumin and a teaspoon of lard, or a tablespoon maybe, I don't know. And I did add a little water to them, just according to how thick you want them. But there's my refried beans. Welcome to Mountain Cooking with Missy. I'm going to show y'all today how to make chicken fajitas with some refried beans. Gonna be good. Stick around, y'all.